Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you're interested in today's video. Just as the US rescinded its temporary exemptions for South Korean and other companies investing in China, South Korean companies quietly devised a solution. This isn't just an online meme, it reflects profound changes currently taking place in the global chip industry chain. Just as the Trump administration threatened to revoke South Korean companies' access to equipment in Chinese factories, SK hynix suddenly dropped a bombshell. The industry's first mass-produced high-NA EUV lithography machine officially arrived at its factory. This officially accelerated competition in the high-end memory chip market, maintaining its industry leadership through advanced processes. The story began on August 29 of this year, when the U.S. Department of Commerce issued direct notices to Samsung, SK hynix, and TSMC, announcing that it would revoke exemptions for South Korean chipmakers Samsung and SK hynix to use U.S. equipment in their Chinese factories, making it more difficult for both companies to produce chips in China. The restrictions will take effect in 120 days. This immediately impacted the very core of both companies. 42.3% of Samsung's flash memory production capacity is in China, and nearly half of SK hynix's memory production capacity is based in mainland China. This blow was truly devastating. But Korean companies are no pushovers. Just when the outside world thought they were about to concede, SK hynix suddenly announced on September 3 that it would import ASML's most advanced TWINSCAN EXE5200B chip production equipment from the Netherlands. How impressive is this equipment? It boasts a 40% improvement in optical performance over existing equipment, allowing chip precision to soar 1.7 times and integration levels to skyrocket 2.9 times. In other words, while the US seeks to choke its competitors with American equipment, Korean companies are already preparing for the next generation of chip industry competition. The US seeks to contain its competitors through equipment restrictions, while Korean companies respond with technological upgrades. You have a plan, I have a ladder. Ultimately, the core of this battle is a contest of technological prowess. Global chip manufacturing has entered a stage of a battle of the gods. TSMC's 2 nm process yield has exceeded 60%, and monthly production capacity is expected to reach 50,000 wafers by the end of this year. Although Samsung stumbled with 3 nm, it's also preparing major developments. Even Japan's Rapidus has jumped in, collaborating with IBM on 2 nm technology. The logic behind this is simple: whoever masters the most advanced process technology will dominate the future AI era. After all, the computing power required to train a large language model is beyond the reach of ordinary chips. Why are NVIDIA's GPUs so expensive? Simply put, it's because of their advanced process technology, resulting in a single AI chip with powerful computational capabilities. The US's cancellation of exemptions for South Korean and other companies in China will directly impact the future production capacity of both companies. To mitigate the negative impact of the related news, SK hynix has recently acquired the latest generation of NA EUV lithography machines from ASML of the Netherlands, which is also seen as accelerating the iteration of advanced foundry technology. Imagine if Chinese memory chip manufacturers were still predominantly using 14 nm processes, and Korean companies were directly introducing 5 nm and 3 nm memory chips. What impact would this have on the international market? It's clear that SK hynix aims to maintain its market position in the memory chip sector and consolidate its technological leadership by accelerating chip technology iteration. But will the US currently comply? I doubt it. Micron Technology, having repeatedly cooperated with US measures against China, has been placed on the mainland market's control list. To accelerate the development of its own memory chip business, Micron Technology will inevitably expand into other overseas markets, which will in turn impact the market share of Korean companies in the memory chip business. The accelerated technological iteration of Korean companies actually has another purpose: to reduce their dependence on US equipment and technology. Although this equipment was also purchased from ASML in the Netherlands, at least in terms of technological path, Korean companies are finding their own way forward. Furthermore, the use of US patents in NA EUV lithography is far fewer than in EUV lithography. Ironically, US restrictions may ultimately benefit Chinese companies. When Samsung and SK Hynix's production capacity in China is limited, who will fill the market gap? Obviously, China's own chip manufacturers. It's like the US expended considerable effort to build a wall, only to carve out a private turf for its rival. Some American think tank experts are frustrated, bluntly stating that this will only allow Chinese chipmakers to gain greater market share. Is the US shooting itself in the foot? Let's consider the reaction of the global supply chain. South Korea's Ministry of Industry and Trade immediately stated it would work to minimize the impact on businesses. Even within the US Department of Defense, there are dissenting voices, expressing concern that excessive restrictions could impact supply chain stability. After all, 70% of the global memory chip market is controlled by South Korean companies. If supply were truly disrupted, prices for US electronics would also rise. This kill 1,000 enemies, lose 800 strategy is truly unwise. Competition in high-end chips will only intensify in the future, and no country will choose to fall behind. TSMC is already preparing its 2nm process for Apple's A20 chip, and Nvidia and Qualcomm are also lining up for production capacity. However, due to the high costs, some manufacturers are considering switching to Samsung. The Korean company's official announcement is actually a statement of their stance. While US restrictions will impact their business, their innovative capabilities remain. In this era of rapid change, the only constant is change itself. The US aims to maintain its advantage through restrictions, while Korean companies are breaking the deadlock through upgrades. China is accelerating its independent research and development, while TSMC is quietly making a killing. This drama may have just begun. What are your thoughts on this? Feel free to leave a comment and discuss.